And we're back.
Thank you, Ms. Kirklos. Okay, welcome to the General Business and Finance Committee portion of the meeting. Item 7.1, delegations. We have no delegations this evening for the General Business and Finance Committee. Item 7.2, reports. We will now consider report LS-09-20, selection of chair and vice chair roles for committees of council 2021 through 2022. Do members of council have any questions or comments with respect to the report? After which we'll begin selecting the chair and vice chair roles in sequence. Ms. Kirklos, do you see any hands up?
I do not.
Okay. All right, then let's begin. So we all read the report. We all know what we're about to do, what we can do, and what we cannot do. So we'll move forward with. This went by order of selection. The town clerk, she allowed members of council to, draw out of a hat and choose the order of selection. So that being said, first up we have Councillor Rinciema. Your selection, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Vice Chair of General Business and Finance.
Okay. Noted.
Okay, myself, I chose the second position. I will choose Chair of Planning and Economic Development.
Okay.
Councillor Pachariva.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Michalak. I would like to choose in selection 3, Chair of Community Service and Infrastructure.
Thank you.
Councillor Reiner, you have number 4.
Thank you, Chair Michalak, Vice Chair of Community Services and Infrastructure.
Okay.
Councillor McPherson.
Chair, GBF.
Thank you.
Councillor Brunet.
Vice Chair, Planning and Economic Development.
Thank you.
Councillor Russell.
Madam Clerk, we're now at a conundrum. There's only budgets chair and vice chair left, and we know that's not possible.
That is not possible. So what we will have to do is, bear with me one second here. So we can't have Councillor Russell be a chair or vice chair of the Committee of the Whole Budget or workshop. And so give me a moment because I need to go back to the list. Councillor Pachariva, you chose CSI to be chair, and Councillor Reimer, you're vice chair of CSI. Councillor McPherson, you've chosen General Business and Finance to be chair, and vice chair is Councillor Regima for General Business and Finance. Councillor Michalak, you have chosen chair of PED, Planning and Economic Development, with Councillor Brunet. And so Before we get to you, Counselor Russell, because we will have to ask somebody to switch with you. That leaves Counselor Timmers also for the workshop and budget. And so regardless, you can't be on it anyways, Counselor Russell. So Counselor Timmers, what would be your selection for that?
I'll take chair.
Okay, so for workshop and budget. Okay, so that leaves Counselor Russell. And so we're gonna have to ask a member to make another selection. And if any other member would be willing to do that for Counselor Russell, or if no member is willing to do that, we need to do an amendment to the procedural bylaw to allow for Counselor Russell to sit back on that.
And Madam Clerk, if that's the case, then I would want to be chair.
Because you were picked first. So Chair Miklick, we will have to call for another member to switch with Counselor Russell if that's possible.
Okay, so is there a member of council that has made a selection willing to accommodate the situation we currently have? I'm waiting for a hand to come up.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I did not see one. So that being said, as the
I have Counselor Regima's hand up.
Councilor Regima.
Yes, I will. So that means I will be what? Vice chair of Committee of the Whole?
No, so
Oh.
what that means is that because Counselor Russell was to pick,
Mhm.
and excuse me, Counselor Timmers, but it does go to, it will go to him. So that would then give Counselor Regima a chance to pick chair or vice chair.
Oh. Okay, a vice chair. So I'm vice chair of Committee of the Whole.
And budget.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, and then that means Counselor Russell, you become vice chair of General Business and Finance. Okay, and Counselor Timmers, you remain as chair of Committee of the Whole Workshop and Budget. Do you want me to go through these roles one more time so that we're clear?
I think that would be a terrific idea. Before we do so, I'd like to say thank you to Councilor Regima for her cooperation and her accommodation.
Okay,
And
perfect.
flexibility. You know, she's more than qualified at whatever selection she makes. I'm confident of that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chair Miklick. So Councillor Regima, you are Vice Chair of Committee of the Whole, Workshop and Budget. Councillor Miklick, you will be Chair of Planning and Economic Development. Councillor Pachariva, you are Chair of Community Services and Infrastructure. Councillor Reimer, you are Vice Chair of Community Services and Infrastructure. Councillor McPherson, you are Chair of General Business and Finance. Councillor Brunet, you are Vice Chair of Planning and Economic Development, and Councillor Russell, you will become Vice Chair of General Business and Finance, and Councillor Timmers, you are Chair of Committee of the Whole Workshop and Budget.
Okay, any members have comments, thoughts? Okay, then, there being no further discussion, I have a motion moved by Mayor Easton that members of council confirm their chair and vice chair selections for committees of council for remaining term of 2021-2022. I will now ask our clerk to call the vote.
Thank you. Councillor Brunei,
Yes.
sorry, I didn't catch that. Councillor Brunei?
Said yes.
Oh, thank you. Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Miklick,
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva,
Yes.
Councillor Reimer,
Yes.
Councillor Rajima,
Yes.
Councillor Russell,
Yes.
Councillor Timmers,
Yes.
and Mayor Easton,
Support. Thank you.
and that carries.
Okay, we have now concluded the General Business and Finance Committee agenda. We will now rotate to allow Chair Ranjema to assume the chair at this time for the Community Services and Infrastructure Committee agenda.
Thank you, Thank you, Deputy Mayor Mikulik. We have no delegations this evening for the Community Services and Infrastructure Committee. We have under reports CS09-20 Museum Artifact Diacession. And I don't know if Director of Community Services wants to speak to this.
Chair. So this is an annual report that staff put together, which tells the council which artifacts we will be deaccessioning this year. In 2020, there have been 76 items that have been identified for deaccessioning, and about 30% of those will be going into the education collection. And the report details well why we deaccession, that this is a very necessary process in museum and cultural centers, and they've detailed the objects and why they're deaccessioning, and they are all online this evening, joined by the Associate Director, by the Acting Cultural Coordinator, and Jessica, who is off but often here. So if there are any questions about the report, about the objects, about the exercise that staff undertake in coming to this determination, then they're happy to answer those for council.
Thank you, Shannon. Are there any questions from councillors? I don't see any. So,
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say I have no one showing in the speakers list.
okay. That matches with what I'm seeing. So there being no further discussion, I have a motion moved by Councillor Pachariva. Receive for information report CS0920 regarding the 2020 museum deaccession and approve the items for deaccession from the museum's permanent collection. I will now ask our clerk to call the vote.
Thank you. Councillor Brunei,
Yes.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Miklick,
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva,
Yes.
Councillor Reimer,
Yes.
Councillor Rajima,
Yes.
Councillor Russell,
Yes.
Councillor Timmers,
Yes.
Mayor Easton,
Yes.
and that carries. Thank you.
Okay, we now have concluded the Community Services and Infrastructure Committee agenda. Number 9 on the agenda is confidential items. We have none. Number 10 is committee remarks. Do we have any committee remarks? Don't see any hands up. So number 11 on the agenda is adjournment. I call this meeting adjourned at 9:37 p.m. Thank you.